morning, everybody. Well, I got to tell you, I got a lot of emails on my Street.com article about the national debt, where I showed that last year we paid back 95 trillion. Nobody even knew about it, I guess, until my article. And the world didn't come to an end, and we didn't have hyperinflation, and interest rates didn't spike, and the stock market didn't crash, and everything was fine. Okay. I get emails from time to time. By the way, if you are a Street.com subscriber, if you read my articles, and if you write to me, if you email me, and if you want me to respond, please include your email address, because your comments come to me and I cannot respond. But I have a feeling that many people who wrote to me did not want me to respond, because the emails were insane and they were highly critical, and I was called every name in the book. And it's something that I wanted to talk about, because, first of all, it showed me from the emails, and there were a lot of them. I have never written an article on Street.com that has triggered such a massive email response. And all of them, I cannot say there was even one that was sort of aligned with what I was saying, or that understood what I was saying. They were all just extremely angry about what I said, which was the truth, that we don't have any debt. Everything was paid for in dollars, and the dollars are held in the form of treasuries or other government securities, which are basically dollars that have a term, a duration, and a coupon, an interest payment. And the government can always take back those securities and exchange them for dollar reserve balances, because it is the monopoly issuer of the dollar. And furthermore, the government needs to run a debt, for lack of a better phrase, because that's the only way the non-government can have a surplus of dollars, and even more fundamentally, it's the only way the non-government can have dollars to pay taxes. Okay? But the real thing I want to, and by the way, there's another point, because some people in their emails were at least clever enough to point out, because I posted a clip out from the daily Treasury statement that showed we redeemed 94 trillion last year. A couple of people were smart enough to say, hey, well, didn't you see we issued 95 trillion, so we had to sell 95 trillion in order to pay back the 94 trillion. And I got to hand it to those people, because at least they went one step farther. But they said, Mike, your article's flawed because you did not state that, which is wrong. I totally understand that they sold 95 trillion, but in order to sell 95 trillion, $95 trillion have to be in existence to purchase the 95 trillion. So in other words, you know the old saying, which comes first, the chicken or the egg? In this case, the dollars come first. The dollars are spent into existence by government spending. That's why the dollars are there to purchase 95 trillion worth of securities. And again, it's not even really a purchase. It's a swap. It's an asset swap. People just exchange the 95 trillion of reserve balances for 95 trillion of government securities. That also happened last year. Now, a lot of that are, those are bills, T-bills, constantly being rolled over every month. Tens and tens and tens of billions a month. So, I am aware of that, okay? But here is the serious point that I want to bring up. The responses, the email responses, were so intensely, number one, angry, and number two, misinformed, ignorant, deep, profound ignorance, that in the past I have said, and I believe this, and I believe this more now than ever, that we will eventually see a balanced budget amendment passed, forced down our throats here in America by vast numbers of ignorant people, like those who responded. And that will be the beginning of the end of the American economy. If you think the American economy is bad, if you think it's bad now, you have not seen anything. And those who conflate the United States of America with Greece now, they're wrong, of course, because they don't see the distinction between the fact that the United States of America is a sovereign currency issuing country and Greece no longer issues its own currency. But those people will be correct at some point when we get the balanced budget amendment. We will become just like Greece. And ironically, it will be because of their beliefs and their pressures on, government and their actions that caused that to happen. And even more ironically, will be the fact that most of those people, if not all of them, will probably suffer more than anyone else, certainly more than the people at the top. So those people who seem to be very, very uneducated, very, very misinformed, very is even a mild word for it, they will bring on the very disaster that they wrongly fear from the current situation, which is a very simple situation that the United States is a currency issuing nation and it has to run deficits and it has to supply its debt, in other words, its currency, to the non-government. It has to. It has to. Otherwise, no one could pay their taxes. So there you have it, just letting you know. Okay? If you read that article and if you emailed me and if you want me to respond, include your email address and I'll try. But some of you are just so hostile and so ignorant and so locked into that ignorance. There were a few emails where people will kind of let me think about it, sort of, but not many. I can tell you that. Not many.